In this step, let's talk about regions and zones in AWS. In the last step, we talked about the advantages of having multiple regions and multiple data centers. Now, imagine setting up data centers in different regions around the world. Will it be easy? The answer is no. If you want to set up infrastructure all around the world, you would need a large team. Think about a startup. Can a startup deploy infrastructure on its own to different parts of the world? That would be very difficult for a startup. And that's where all cloud providers, including AWS, provides us with regions all around the world. AWS provides 25 plus regions around the world, and this is an ever expanding list. There are new regions added in every year. Now, what is a region? A region is nothing but a specific geographic location where we can host our resources. You can decide, I would want to host my application in Mumbai region, or I can say I would want to host my application in London region. By having multiple regions around the world, AWS makes it very, very easy for us to deploy applications to different parts of the world. Now, what are the advantages of having multiple regions? Number one is high availability. If you deploy your application to multiple regions around the world, even if one of these regions goes down, you can serve your users from the other regions. Number two is low latency. You can serve your users from the nearest region to them, and therefore they get low latency. If there's a request coming in from India, you can serve from Mumbai. If there's a request coming in from somewhere in Europe, you can serve from the London region. And if a request is coming in from United States, you can probably serve it from one of the regions in United States. The third advantage is global footprint. A startup in India can easily deploy applications to multiple parts of the world. The last advantage is adherence to global regulations. Different countries have different regulations. Let's say United States of America wants all the data related to its citizens to reside only within their country. In those kind of situations, you can create a region in United States and store all data to US customers only in that specific region. So regions help us achieve high availability, low latency, global footprint, and help us to adhere to government regulations. Now the question is, what is the need for availability zones? How do you achieve high availability in the same region? That's where availability zones are really, really useful. AWS provides multiple availability zones in each of the regions. Each availability zone is nothing but a set of one or more discrete data centers. Each of the availability zones has independent and redundant power, networking, and connectivity. The chance that two availability zones simultaneously fail is very, very rare. In addition, all the availability zones in a region are connected through low latency links. So there can be very fast communication between applications deployed in the same availability zone. The biggest advantage of going for availability zones is increased availability and fault tolerance while deploying the application in the same region. So if I'm deploying my application to multiple availability zones in the same region, even if one of the availability zones goes down, you can serve the application from the other availability zone. Let's look at a few example regions and availability zones in AWS. US East 1. This is called US East North Virginia. And these are 6 availability zones. You can see that the name of a region is US East 1. And the name of the availability zone is the name of the region appended by an alphabet. For example, you have 6 availability zones running from A to F. So you have US East 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E, and 1F. These are the 6 availability zones in the region US East 1. Similar to that, you have regions around the world. You have EU West 2, which is Europe London region. And this has 3 availability zones, 2A, 2B, and 2C. We also have a region in India, AP South 1, Asia Pacific, Mumbai. And this has 3 availability zones, AP South 1A, 1B, and 1C. In this step, we looked at regions and availability zones in AWS. I'm sure you're having a wonderful time, and I'll see you in the next step.